Welcome. I'm Ed Wolfe, Central Kitsap Commissioner. I've got to tell you, this is a great time to be a county commissioner, especially in Central Kitsap. Kitsap is exploding, and I mean that very positively, with good things, especially in Central Kitsap. You've seen the hospital, things that are going to the hospital, the trails, a new shopping center, the remodel of the mall, Silverdale Community Center. Sales tax revenue in Kitsap County in 2015 was $1 billion. 2015, $1 billion. So things are exploding in Kitsap County. The goal for my segments have been, Commissioner's Corner, have been to bring in some public and public-private partnerships, and who's doing what in the community, who's contributing to the community. That's what I wanted my viewers to see, the public and the private sector. Today we're going to get a little bit of both. I have two interviews today. One with Jerry LeTexier. We're going to talk about, well, I'll tell you what we're going to talk about later, but right now, let me say, we're moving this interview today to economic growth and preserving the environment on a public-private basis. Balancing growth in our community is extremely important to me, has been for the past year, protecting our environment and maintaining that quality of life that brought my wife and myself over here. Today, as I mentioned earlier, Jerry LeTexier, JPL Habitability, Inc. will be with us. It's a local company. They do so much for our economy, and we'll go into that in a bit. But they also do things in the national defense world, helping our sailors around the world be more comfortable. So we'll hear more about that. And later, sneak preview of the Bucklin Hill Bridge. Many of you, with the, I think, 20,000 people passing that bridge a day when it was operating, we're about ready to start it back up again. Open it up, and you'll hear from Tina Nelson today. She's our chief engineer on the Bucklin Hill project, and she will be next. So if you want to come out and join us, bring a hard hat, stick around. Welcome back to Commissioner's Corner again. I'm Ed Wolfe. With me today is Jerry LeTexier, JPL Habitability, Inc. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, nice to see you, Jerry, again. Tell us a little bit about manufacturing, of course. Tell us a little bit about your company and the services that your company provides.
Well, we're a manufacturing company. We've been doing it since 1992. Out
of your garage first?
I started in the garage.
That's right.
Moved into Shack and Gorst, and here we are since '95.
In Manette, yeah.
In Manette. Yeah. And we primarily work with the U.S. Navy, the U.S. Coast Guard, military sea lift command ships, and we manufacture all of the furniture, all the interior furnishings for those ships.
Like aircraft carriers?
Lots of every aircraft carrier has been home ported here, plus the Reagan. The Roosevelt was on the East Coast. We went over there and did that job. And we do everything from the floors to the Navy's, the decks to the overheads and all the bulkheads. And
floors mean you actually build the floors?
Well, all of the floors are all metal, so they're all brought up to be leveled out, and there's a finished product that goes on the top. We don't build those, but they're an application that gets done aboard the ship.
What's well, you talked a little bit about the history of the company. How many years ago?
We'll be in our 24th year right now.
24th year.
Yeah.
Starting out doing the same thing you're doing today,
yes.
Manufacturing?
Yeah. Well, no, for a JPL, yes.
Yeah,
that was my.
Yeah, okay. And the ships that you've been involved in over the years, I'm sure the viewing public would like to hear something about the Stennis or whatever the ships might have been.
Yeah, we've worked on probably over 40 ships.
No kidding.
20 in East Coast, West Coast, South, and up here. And I've worked on all the aircraft carriers, the Stennis, the Nimitz, the Eisenhower, the Roosevelt. I mean, they just go on.
Do you get free rides?
They've been offered many times. When I was in the Navy, I was stationed on the Eisenhower. So,
you were in the Navy?
Yeah, that was kind of a free ride.
When you were in the Navy, Jerry, did you have any idea that you would grow into what you're doing today after 20-some plus years?
No idea that I'd be doing this at all.
Yeah.
I was my college background's in the health sciences, so you know, med school was my track, and so I've kind of took a serious detour.
Serious, very productive detour. I mean, for the county, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. How many employees?
We've had as many as 28, but we're at 18 right now.
Does it flow with the economy?
Yeah, it flows with the economy. I mean, we do, you know, we tap into the local temp agencies around here, the local companies, and if we need if we need some extra labor or something like that, we're able to get some people from those folks, and then we hire as the demand. You know, Navy. In the Reagan era, we had 600 ships, and now we have 300 and some. So you can, it kind of fluctuates.
Well, you know, I worked in the Reagan administration, so I'm happy to hear you're talking about 600 ships in the Navy.
I'd like to see 600 more.
We won't go into politics. We won't go into politics. How about current projects?
Current projects. Well, we're working on the USS Nimitz right now. Quite a few spaces on that ship. The captain's import cabin. The library, the chapel, you know, the conference rooms and things like that.
And what are you doing with those rooms?
We basically, well, the captain's import cabin is a really important one because that's where all the dignitaries and VIPs stay when the ship's out to sea. So prime ministers and presidents and all that are actually the ones that occupy that space. The captain gets this little room on the 09 level of the island. It's not having way up high, lots of ladders, no elevator. So I mean, it's really important that that space gets, you know, done really, really well. We do all the design work. We work with the ship to make sure that thing turns out to be what it needs to be to represent, you know, the namesake of the ship and the power of the U.S. So that's kind of, then the chapel and a lot of the other spaces are more for, you know, quality of life for the crews. I mean, you want to go to a nice chapel. When you want to go to services, you don't really want to feel like you're out to sea floating around. So we try to tone all that down to let them get away.
So you've talked about all of these ships, Jerry, over the years, recent years, and talked about current projects. So you've got rooms here, you've got captain's rooms here, you've got floors here, you've got ceilings. Do you have competition, or are you doing it all? No,
we have a lot of competition. We have competition up here in the Northwest, and, you know, a lot of competition down south. And we were just awarded a 5-year contract for Naval Base San Diego, and that's a tough gig down there. There's a lot of competition to you know, win the different task orders that they give. And
so you'll be going to San Diego a lot?
I've been going there since May. We have a facility down there too.
Your daughter should have applied to San Diego Law School.
Oh, she's just set on Gonzaga.
Good. The one question I wanted to ask was the challenges, and I ask this of everyone I might have on my Commissioner's Corner, the challenges that your particular industry has in doing business, if there are challenges, in Kitsap County, in doing business in the state or the nation. Do you have challenges that you're dealing with?
Well, California's its own challenge on its own, but that's for another topic. But, you know, up here, recently, I think our biggest challenge is, you know, the shipyard has been on a huge hiring frenzy. And they're taking a lot of the, you know, local people that are available to get a job out of the market for the small businesses. And it's really trying to find qualified you know, people to work has really kind of been difficult. You know, and I think that if the county could do anything, I don't know if they can, but I mean, if we could get these kids coming out of school to have a little bit bigger background in the career and technical education and the labor side of things, more a sound program instead of, you know, everybody's directing these kids. My daughter was the same, to try to go, you know, do the 4-year school program, to maybe put a little more focus on the career and technical side of things, the trades and
so go OC.
Or go OC, but I mean, it should start even sooner than that. I mean, you look at the percentage of kids that go to a 2 or 4 year school and what the dropout rate is, because more or less they were kind of instructed to go that way, because that was the path to success. I think the trades is a really good opportunity for a track to be successful, and I don't really feel like they're getting it as early as they should be getting it. At least now they'll have an opportunity to figured out. And I think that the you know, if we could get some funding or get some more push behind, you know, having those kids get that opportunity, I think the local economy and not only the shipyard, but all of the businesses like me, will give us a better shot at, you know, being able to support the military and the shipyard.
So it's not just STEM, science, technology.
No, sir.
It's not just STEM. It's STEM courses. It's going back earlier than that, In what regard?
Well, I think mostly, you know, you look at the junior highs, go to the junior highs and the high schools. I mean, there's actually the career and technical education program that I'm fortunate to be in Rotary with the director. You know, and I've had conversations about this sort of thing, and he asked me to be on the general advisory committee for it. And I think it's when I've toured the high schools and the junior highs, and I've looked at what pretty much what they have and what they don't have. I think there should be a little more emphasis put on programs to help those kids maybe see if they want to be in the trades. Or
excellent point. Excellent point. I wasn't prepared for this, but you raised Rotary, and the public should not know this possibly, and now they're listening. That there's sometimes an inter-rivalry between the East Bremerton Rotary and the Bremerton Rotary. I happen to be a member for 20 years of Bremerton Rotary. You're East Bremerton Rotary, but the rivalry, it's usually sports rivalry, right? But the rivalry stops when we work together on community involvement. And I know that JPL is very involved in the community. You're very involved in the community, I should say, JPL. But let's talk a minute about the Boys and Girls Club. And let's talk about our teen center. I know you designed a beautiful piece of art. I guess we could call that art. What would you? How would you describe it?
I would call it art, and I'd call it it's a monument. To kind of accent the club. And
you designed it, and I think you donated it.
Yes.
Your company donated.
Well, I had help with I had a good team of people that we hashed it out, and we came up with the design. And
it's spectacular, and I think BCAT will have some shots of that sometime during this interview. What else in the community, and other than Boys and Girls or Teen Center, Boys and Club?
Well, you know, being a member of the Rotary Club,
one of the Rotary clubs in Bremerton.
You know, it's kind of, there's a lot of opportunities. You know, as a Rotarian, there's a lot of opportunities to help with the community, and you know, we've been able to partner with EBR for like the Sweetheart auction. Our company donates, fabricates, and donates solid cherry Adirondack chairs and custom coolers, and you know, we've donated all the kitchen cabinets to the Boys and Girls Club on Naval Avenue. We do, you know, Bachman Park.
10 years ago, a group of us started that. You remember?
Yep, donated all that with Armstrong Homes. Did the wood, and with Rotarians helping and all that, and then we donated the rails and got that thing back, get it off the condemned list and back up so the public can enjoy it. That's
serving
really
150 kids. Thank you for doing that.
Awesome.
Serving 150 kids, I think, 140, 50 kids at the Naval Avenue Boys and Girls Club now.
That was, I mean, every opportunity. If I could just do that for a living, I would be happy. I get the most enjoyment out of giving back to the community.
Yeah. We thank you. I thank you. The community thanks you, not only for living wage jobs, number one. Number two, for what you do in the community, have done, continue to do in the community. And number three, just being a part of our manufacturing, not startups, but companies that's just making our economy so much better here, working together. So thank you for that time.
My pleasure.
I'm going to close this segment down just by saying that I believe that JPL has had a monumental positive impact over the past 20 years on county, as I mentioned to Jerry, on living wage jobs, number one, the community service, number two, I can't say this enough, and globally. I mean, globally in terms of our soldiers and sailors and that are around the world, and you're making their lives better, whether it's a floor or whether it's a ceiling. So thank you for that, Jerry, and all the talents that many of us know you have in your company, and we appreciate you.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome back to Commissioner's Corner. Once again, I'm Ed Wolfe, Central Kitsap County Commissioner. With me today, I have Tina Nelson, our Senior Program Manager, Engineer Project Lead for this project here. Tina, welcome.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Wolfe.
Look behind me if you would. This is the construction, the project. It's overwhelming. You're going to get a sneak peek today about the Bucklin Hill project, where we are in the project, when it's going to be over, whether we're on time or not, and Tina Nelson's going to fill us in on much of that today. So Tina, tell the viewers about who are you and what do you do?
Okay. I am a person with about 30 years of experience in public works and infrastructure. I'm a civil engineer by education, and I have worked with, I've lived in Kitsap County now for 25 years.
Right.
I have worked this position as a senior manager for 10 years. My main responsibility as a senior manager is to deliver the capital project for our roads division in public works.
Okay, so if you would just tell us a little bit about Public Works. I know we have our county Public Works department, we have about 65 employees, something like that.
265.
265 employees. And what's the range of what they do? Just give us a brief update.
A brief update on the range of what we do. We basically maintain infrastructure in Kitsap County. We do everything from clean ditches, fix roads, to traffic signals, take care of solid waste, pick up solid waste. We also, of course, my group, the roads group, traffic signals, and we also improve safety on the roads. We repave and maintain.
And you do bridges.
And we do bridges.
And culverts.
We don't actually construct them. We hire contractors to do that.
But we're
yes.
gonna get into that in a little while.
Yeah.
So that's what. But now I know we have 265 employees. That's very good. Thank you. Roughly 265.
Yes.
So around here, it's a blustery day. Actually, we're sunny this morning. It's a blustery day, and I want the public, our viewers, and welcome back to all of them, to see the complexity of this project. The complexity meaning the girders, and you're going to talk a bit about that, I think, Tina, and certainly talk about, if you would, the estuary. Maybe tell our viewers, remind our viewers what an estuary is and how that fits into this. It's not really just a bridge project.
No.
Please.
Absolutely not just a bridge project. And I'm going to be careful about talking about the estuary. I'm an engineer, I'm not a biologist. But one of the reasons for this project, or two of the reasons, one being we needed capacity. There were two 72-inch culverts here initially. And we needed to widen the road. There were only 2 lanes. We had to widen the road. The only way to do that would be build a bridge. With that then comes an incredible improvement to the estuary. We are bringing the estuary back to where it was back in the old days.
What are the old days?
The old days go 100 years back when
Okay.
there was no restrictions here. Actually, you may have to go farther back than that. When there were no restrictions. Now you're going to have a 90-foot opening so that the estuary is going to change. It's going to turn into a lot more habitat for the type of critters that like to estuarine environment.
So it's more than a bridge project.
Oh, so much more.
What do you mean by an estuary that's going to open up for the critters? What critters are we talking about?
Now the exact critters, I'm not going to go there because I'm going to give you the wrong name. Salmon, that is a critter, absolutely. But what we have is when the water comes in and out in a different fashion than going through those small pipes, you're going to create the environment that those critters are going to like more. So we're going to have a better estuary. The complexity isn't really what we're looking at. The bridge is not the most complex part of this project. The most complex part of this project are all the utilities. We are replacing utilities, every single one. We're building new water mains, we're replacing the force main, we're replacing all of the cables for Puget Sound Energy. We put in new power poles. There's a lot of others involved.
If I can interrupt you, that was a point I'd like our viewers to understand. This project, more than a bridge project, has been not a nightmare, but a very complex coordination effort between, as you mentioned, Puget Sound Energy, probably with state regulatory. How have you coordinated all of this, you and your team, to protect the environment of Dyes Inlet, where I kayak regularly, Dyes Inlet, and the health and the beauty of this whole area? How have you coordinated all that to make sure that we keep this pristine Dyes Inlet?
First, I'm very impressed with all the knowledge you have about the project. Protection of the environment is key. One of those that are how we do that, one of the ways is there's regulations, and we have to work with the Corps of Engineers, we have to work with Fish and Wildlife, Department of Ecology, and we have to follow the rules. We have to start with providing some studies and information about how how things function now and how things are going to function in the future. Big environmental part is during construction, and what you see right over in this area, we have stormwater treatment.
Okay.
So all of the water that lands on the construction site has to be cleaned out of sediment and particulates before it enters into the estuary. So all of that water goes into the sophisticated treatment facility, and then it goes out into the inlet. So we've got to make sure that we're not damaging anything while we're building the project.
Okay. So I know, for the viewers at home, I know when this is going to be open. I know about what it's going to cost. We'll get into that later. But what I want you to tell the viewers at home is, once this is done, what can they expect to see?
What they can expect to see is a 5-lane roadway with bike lanes and 6-foot wide sidewalks, and a good trail crossing. What they are also not going to see, what they're also going to be able to see is they're going to be able to safely walk across the bridge, stop on the sidewalk of the bridge, and look out over the estuary.
Viewing stand?
No viewing stand right in the middle of the estuary, but on this side of the estuary there will be viewing platforms. That will have an informational kiosk, and there will be some benches for people to sit. But with the wider sidewalk and the bike lane, you're going to be farther away from the traffic than you were before, so you will be able to see more of the estuary from there.
What have we done to minimize the traffic, and what are we continuing to do to minimize the traffic?
Yeah, it related with the construction part. First of all, the number one thing we did was close the road. We decided to close the road. Now that may seem to people, well, closing the road doesn't help traffic. Well, that cut down the construction time. If we would have left the road open, we would have taken at least another 6 months. But with the road open, that doesn't mean that 20,000 cars can easily pass. It's a 1-lane construction. By minimizing the time, is less time was disrupted. There is no good thing about construction. It is always inconvenient. But what we have tried to do has been to make sure that people are aware of the project and have provided a lot of brochures. We've talked to all of the businesses about finding your own detour. There's not one detour route.
You've actually been out in some of the retail establishments talking to them, haven't you?
We have, our team has, and we have left little folders and holders. Scout your route. So that everybody had to scout their own route. People are coming from different directions, going in different directions. And it's important to people that they knew that they had to plan for it. We also did put in a temporary signal at Ridgetop 11 so that make that turn better. And a few little timing differences on some of the signals. But there is nothing magic you can do. You're building something, and it's going to be inconvenient. It's just part of construction. But it will certainly be better when we're done.
I'm not saying this because I'm a county employee. I'm saying this because I truly believe it. The outreach program, Public Works outreach program for this project has been phenomenal. And people have told me that. So the outreach will continue, of course. How would the public today learn to find out what's the next milestone? When's the opening? What's the traffic mitigation plan? How would they find that out?
Okay, so how people will find out about the project is they go to the project website, bucklinhill.com. Can't get much easier than that. We update every Thursday, we update that webpage with the work for the next week, so that you will know what type of work activities are taking place if you're interested. And that's also where we're, of course, going to announce when we are actually going to open the roadway.
But we know already.
Not the actual date. Not the actual date.
We're not reporting today. Okay.
So we have said that it's going to take 14 months. That's how long we need that road closed. Well, it's going to be shorter. We will open the road in July. The date is uncertain yet, but we will open their roadway in July.
And I don't think I'll get overruled. We were talking about this on the way down here, because Krista Shores, they've been such wonderful, wonderful neighbors. You've been in there, I've been in there. We're going to ask Krista Shores, some of the Krista Shore residents, to be the first people to walk across Bucklin Hill Bridge.
Yes.
And we'll be out there with them doing that.
They have been here, they have seen the construction, they've had to listen to the generator. They
never complained.
I would say they have not complained. They have been very patient with us.
So they'll walk across the bridge before anyone. Number one question is, Why did you have to close the whole bridge down? Why couldn't you leave one lane so I could get to my favorite coffee place or I could get wherever I'm going? Why did we have to do that?
Yeah, first we didn't close the bridge. There wasn't a bridge before.
Sorry. Okay.
So there was a lot of fill material and two culverts. Why did we close the road?
Yeah.
The main reason we closed the road is that people have habits. So even if we kept the road open, we were going to have one lane through construction. Safety is a big deal. Traffic trying to drive through construction zone is not good for either people. But the main key thing was we could save at least 6 months. Traffic was bad because of the closure. Traffic would have been just as bad for another 6 months. We save some money in it because we use other construction techniques. You can build a bridge easier and faster if you don't have to keep the road open.
Anything you would like to add that I haven't asked any questions? Put you on the spot here.
Put me on the spot. The thing I'd like to add is I am amazed at how patient people have been and how knowledgeable people have been about the road closure. The thing that I don't think we did a good job of in our outreach was we basically informed people that it was a bridge project. And we didn't talk as much about the utilities. And the utilities have been the challenge for us on this project. We have found buried utilities that we didn't know about. We found an old buried roadway. So that's been our challenges, but we're moving right along.
Well, Tina, thank you so much for being here with us, and we're going to hold you to some date in July.
You sure should.
165 employees.
265
employees in Public Works. We're going to hold you to that. But let me just say that this has been an exciting Commissioner Corner, not just with Tina, but also with Jerry LeTexier from JPL Habitability, Inc. That company, earlier you heard, they're doing things around the world and making our lives, or the lives, better for our sailors around the world and contributing to the economy. So that we've got the economy part of a very important company in our county, and now we've got infrastructure, and we've got bridges, and we've got the environment, and we're doing this, and we're all working together, and I couldn't be happier. What an exciting time to be Kitsap County Commissioner. I mean, just look around. Hasn't started raining yet, but it's going to start raining probably pretty soon, and hopefully you're going to be out here sometime in July. Go online. What is it online again?
BucklinHill.com.
Thanks to our guests, Tina, thank you, and Jerry LeTexier, who was with us early. Thank you all, and thank you for joining me and getting the sneak peek today on my Commissioner's Corner, and we'll see you next time.